Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So not every fragrance is love at first sniff. There are some that we really don't like at first, and then after trying them several times, or after maybe putting them away for a while and coming back and trying them again, all of a sudden we fall in love with. At least this happens to me quite often. So today I've chosen some fragrances from my collection that I had exactly the same experience with. When I originally tried them, I did not like them at all, and I never thought that they would be part of my collection. But with time, I really grew to love them and enjoy them, and most of them have become staples in my collection. The first one I'm going to share with you should not come as a surprise if you have watched my videos, because I have mentioned it several times as a challenging fragrance that really took me some time to love. It's a fragrance that really shocked me when I smelled it for the first time, and that is Lune Feline from Atelier des Ors. I mean, the bottle is stunning. The gold flakes are stunning, and I was really expecting this to be an amazing vanilla. That's what I heard and read from my research, from watching videos and reading reviews. And when I smelled it for the first time, it completely took me by surprise, because of course this was a blind buy. I have nowhere to test this fragrance, and what I got when I first sprayed it on was burnt rubber. I was shocked, and I thought, wow, this is going to be the biggest fail in my collection. But because this had so many positive reviews, so many people love it, I really wanted to give it a chance, and I'm so glad that I did, because I absolutely love this fragrance now. So what does it have in it? It has cardamom, vanilla, balsam, cinnamon, woody notes, and I think it's a very, very strong note of cardamom that gives that burnt rubber impression to me at the beginning. And after a while, this really settles into an amazingly spicy, deep, woody kind of vanilla. After the initial hour and a half, it becomes absolutely stunning and amazing. But that initial spray really shocked me. But what I found out is, as I wore this more and more, that initial burnt rubber smell started disappearing more and more. I don't know why. Maybe I got used to it. Maybe my nose got better trained. Maybe the fragrance just needed to kind of stand and calm down after, it traveled to me. I really don't know. But when I spray it now, I don't get the burnt rubber anymore. I really get that deep, spicy vanilla, very strong cardamom note, which is stunning. So this definitely was not love at first sniff, but I'm so glad that I gave this fragrance a chance, because I have completely fallen in love with it, and I definitely need to have it in my collection. Second one also should not come as a surprise, because it's a fragrance that I really didn't understand the hype about this fragrance when I initially tried it. And then when I tried it again after some time, then it all clicked together, and I understood the beauty of the fragrance. I was able to appreciate it at that time, and that is, of course, Grand Soir from Maison France's Kurkdjian. And I originally sampled this fragrance probably either towards the end of the spring or beginning of the summer, but definitely during a warm weather. And it just didn't work. I didn't understand the beauty of this fragrance. And then when I tried it again, quite a few months later, probably at the beginning of the fall, when the weather started cooling down, I felt like I was trying out a whole new fragrance. It smelled so different to me. It became very smooth and deep and sweet type of amber, whereas before it wasn't anything like that. So I figured out that for me, I don't know if that's the case for everyone with this fragrance, but for me, this is a fragrance that blooms, that is at its best during the colder weather. Even when it cools down a little bit, like when I retried it, it was beginning of September, it wasn't very cold yet, but it also wasn't as hot as it was when I originally tried it, and it made a huge difference. So I'm so glad again that I gave it a second chance and I tried it, because when I tried it in the fall, I had to have the full bottle. It is a stunning amber scent. And of course, there is also vanilla, benzo, and tonka. So you can see that it's really a lot of sweet notes together with amber, and it just creates this beautifully smooth, sweet kind of amber. It's not spicy, it's not cold type of amber. It is warm and sweet and smooth, and it's just a stunning fragrance. So if any of you have tried it and not liked it, perhaps you tried it during the wrong time of the year, because again, I think this really needs cold weather. So again, not a love from first sniff, but has become an absolute must in my collection. Next one that I didn't like originally when I tried it is Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. And I think I didn't like this one because originally I tried it quite a few years ago. At that time, you know, I had a normal person collection that consisted of maybe 4 or 5 fragrances. All of them were designer, pretty, you know, easygoing type of scents. And when I tried this one, I really didn't understand it. To me, it smelled very smoky. Tobacco was so strong. It smelled masculine. And I just could not understand how a woman could wear this. And I think I just wasn't ready for it. My nose was not trained at all. And so that's why I didn't like it. And for that reason, I haven't tried it again for quite a few years. But last year, as I started exploring the note of tobacco more, and I started enjoying fragrances with this note more, I thought, okay, now it's time to try Tobacco Vanille again, because so many people love it, especially so many women love it and wear it. Maybe I will like it as well. And of course, when I tried it again last year, I fell in love with it. This is a beautiful tobacco that doesn't seem masculine to me at all anymore, because it's a very sweet type of tobacco. There's also spices in here, vanilla, dried fruits, tonka, and I'm getting, like I said, sweet tobacco with vanilla and dried fruits, and more specifically, it really has that cherry vibe that sweet tobacco often gives out. So it is beautiful. It is definitely unisex. And again, I'm really glad that I tried it again after so many years. Next, I have a fragrance from Mugler. And of course, I think most of Mugler fragrances are polarizing. People either love them or they hate them. And I used to really hate all of Mugler fragrances. I would pass by their counter, I would try smelling them, and they all seemed so strong, so strange, just completely unwearable. And again, with time, as I tried them over and over again, I started appreciating the beauty and the complexity of Mugler fragrances. And I could have honestly easily listed any of the Mugler fragrances here, because I really used to not like all of them. But I decided to go with Angel, more specifically Angel EDT, because Angel has become my favorite from Mugler fragrances, and more specifically Angel EDT. Yes, of course, this is still not everyone's cup of tea. Many people hate it, which I completely understand, because this has such a strong note of patchouli. But there are also fruits in here. There are berries, citruses, honey, cotton candy, caramel, vanilla. So you can see that there are a ton of gourmand notes mixed together with a strong patchouli. And of course, I love gourmand scents, and I enjoy patchouli as well. It's just that, I mean, this is patchouli to beat all other patchouli scents. It is very strong. But I hated it for a very, very long time, and I really grew to love it and appreciate this scent for what it is, for its complexity, for its innovation, and for its beauty. So I am definitely a fan of Angel EDT now. Next one that I have on the list, I think will really surprise you. And it is Delina from Parfums de Marly. Yes, Delina. Can you believe it? But when I first tried it, I did not like it at all. And that is, I think, again, because my nose was just not trained to appreciate the scent then. I got a sample of Delina very, very early into my sort of serious fragrance collecting. When I was really not mostly, but really 100% into designer fragrances. I have not purchased a single niche scent at that point. And I think Delina was one of the first niche scents that I got to try. I received a sample of it with some kind of order. And by that time, I already knew that this was a very popular scent, a very hyped scent. And when I tried it first, I was completely puzzled. I didn't like it. I didn't like the sweetness and creaminess of it. I found it strange mixed with rose. I actually always liked the tartness of the rhubarb in Delina, but I think it was the sweetness and kind of creaminess of lychee that really bothered me. And when I first tried the sample, I put it away and I thought, no, this is definitely not for me. And I thought, wow, so I'm so happy because I don't need to look into purchasing this expensive scent. And I put it away, and as it often happens with me, I come back and I try some of my samples. I remember trying it for the second time. I still didn't like it. I again put it away. And then quite a few months later, again, I was playing with my samples and I tried it again. And all of a sudden it was like, what was I thinking? How could I not like this? This is absolutely stunning. And I think it happened because by that point, I have had a chance to experience and smell so many more fragrances. So, I think my nose was better trained at that point, and I fell in love with it. And I initially purchased a set of travel sprays of Delina, which I loved. And then I regretted not having the beautiful bottle because you all know I really enjoy beautiful bottles. So I sold my travel set. I bought the big bottle of Delina, and I've been in love with it ever since and continue to love the scent. But it definitely took me some time to fall in love with this fragrance. Next one on my list is Mon Guerlain from Guerlain. Again, when I initially tried this one, and I tried the original, I remember trying EDT. There were a few flankers out at that point. I tried a few flankers because this is, very easily available at any department store. So I had no problem going there and smelling it. And I already heard, a lot of hype about the fragrance, but I really didn't like it. And that is because I never liked the note of lavender. And to me, lavender was so prominent in this fragrance. And it is still prominent to me. When I smell it now, it is still prominent. But again, one of the times that I went to a department store, I would stop by and smell this. I've smelled it quite a few times. And one of those times, again, it just something clicked and I thought, yes, there is lavender. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of lavender, but there's something very beautiful about this fragrance, very sweet. The lavender doesn't really bother me in it anymore. And I thought, yeah, I really need to have it. And I really preferred at that time the original to, the EDT or a few flankers that were out. Now, there are more flankers that came out since, and to be honest, I haven't tried all of them, so I don't know if I would like them more, but so far, the original Mon Guerlain is really my favorite. Another fragrance that I didn't like at first sniff is Choo by Choo. And that is because the note of, again, patchouli in here is very, very strong. And the note of toffee in here is also very strong. So you get these two halves of of sweet toffee with very strong kind of earthy patchouli, and both halves are very, very strong. And so when I tried it, the two halves kind of couldn't come together for me. They just were, I felt that the fragrance was very unbalanced and very strong. It just kind of a fragrance that didn't make sense to me. And so it took quite a few tries for me to like it. And then again, one day after trying it for nth time, I really started liking it, and that's when I purchased the full bottle. Next one that I have is Replica by the Fireplace, and I just have a travel spray of this one. And of course, this is a very strong, woody, burning wood kind of fragrance. There are chestnuts, woods, vanilla, cloves. So it's like really roasting marshmallows by the fireplace. But when I first smelled it quite a few times, and every time I would go into Sephora, this would be one of the fragrances that I would test. And for the longest time, I could not understand what all the hype was about. It was so strong. The burning sensation was so strong and so unpleasant to me. I really didn't like it. And as with many other fragrances that I've mentioned, what happened was, as I started experimenting and trying out more fragrances, my nose started changing, and I started liking scents that I never liked before, this one being one of those. So I cannot say that this is my all-time favorite scent. It is not, but when I'm in the mood, and I'm typically in the mood for this on really cold nights, that's when I like wearing this. I find something incredibly comforting about this scent when it's really cold outside, and even at home I'm having a hard time warming up. That's when I would wear this. So this is still kind of I have to be in the mood to wear this scent, but I definitely appreciate and understand the beauty and the uniqueness of this scent. And the last one that I have on my list is a very interesting scent. Again, this is very hyped, I think, in the fragrance community. Many people consider it a very high quality scent, and it is a celebrity scent, one of a few that I have in my collection. But I know that many say that this is a much higher quality than you would expect from a celebrity scent. I'm talking about Truth or Dare Naked from Madonna. And this was not easy to find. This has been discontinued, but I was able to find it, and for the longest time, I really disliked it. The notes in here are florals, orchid, cacao, benzoin, sandalwood, oud, and I think it was the oud, although it is not strong here. Well, at least I think so now that I've had some experience with oud. But originally when I got it, I felt that the oud in this was very strong. And then there are very strong florals in here as well, which I'm also not a fan of. And it even has a bit of a boozy quality as well. And when I first tried it, I really didn't appreciate any of these notes, and that's why I really didn't like this scent. And with time, well, first of all, I don't know why, but I typically, as you know, if I don't like a fragrance, if it doesn't work for me, I declutter it. I don't keep it in my collection. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I was always hesitant to declutter this one. I kept sort of putting it back and keeping it in my collection, hoping that one day I would understand this fragrance, just because so many people speak highly about it, and I'm kind of glad that I did. It is, I won't lie to you, it is still not my favorite fragrance in my collection. It is not a fragrance that I reach for very often, but I definitely, again, understand the beauty of this fragrance, and I find it so much more beautiful than I did at the beginning. Like, I can see that the oud in here is very light, actually. It is not strong at all. There's a beautiful creaminess here from sandalwood, and benzoin and cacao bring a little bit of that sweet coffee vibe, and even, like I said, a touch of booziness I feel in here. And then you have florals, which originally seemed very, very heavy for me, but now I don't think so. I find them a lot more blended with all the other notes. So this definitely took me many tries to like this fragrance, but I am definitely a fan now. And this was the last fragrance on my list. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I would love to know if you have any fragrances in your collection that you did not love at first sniff. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.